Well, welcome back. Well, we have a couple guests on, one of which you probably, if you watch the show, you'll recognize because she's been on before. And another one of our guests is, we're really happy to have you here. And we have Stephanie Paul here today. She's the Vice President of the American Parkinson's Disease Association, and Autumn McAlpin. And you may remember that she was on a while back, a couple months ago. She did the movie Shadow, which we showed here actually several times.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
It was very, very well received. It
Thank you.
did a great job with that, using a lot of locals here. Well, Stephanie and Autumn are both involved, once again, with using some of the local residents here, this time to create a national campaign for the Parkinson's Association, creating a PSA. And I think this is wonderful. Stephanie, tell me first a little bit about the American Parkinson's Disease Association.
I would love to do that, thank you. So the American Parkinson's Disease Association is a nationwide network. We've been around since 1961, and our mission is to ease the burden and find the cure for Parkinson's disease. And it's my honor to be here in the Laguna Woods area. We're very excited I got a call back in October, I believe it was, from Larry Strauss, talking to us about his battle with Parkinson's disease and the fact that he really wanted to help us raise awareness and to get the word out about Parkinson's disease, how it impacts people, and the fact that you can be diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but you can continue to live a good life. Mm-hmm. And so we've had a lot of discussion, and in January we got very serious about the discussion and started talking about building this PSA campaign, working with Autumn to raise awareness about the disease and to raise awareness about living optimistically with Parkinson's disease. So it's been quite an adventure in the last 8 weeks, frankly, and I came out here on Friday and we shot the PSA this entire weekend, and it's just been an incredible experience.
Parkinson's disease, we often associate it with the visual signs of it. People may be having tremors, shaking, things like that. But it's far more than that, because there's a lot of, there's other areas of the body that it affects as well that we may not visually see, but it has sort of the same type of effect maybe on people's cognitive thinking or other organs of the body, and we don't hear about that part of it much.
Yeah, there are definitely non-motor symptoms that can happen, issues with depression, issues with speaking. The thing about Parkinson's disease is it manifests in everybody completely differently. And so even diagnosing the disease can be very challenging. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There's many different levels at which Parkinson's disease can impact someone. And what we do at the American Parkinson's Disease Association is strive to provide programs and services to meet all of those different types of needs. The most important thing, if someone experiences symptoms or feels that they potentially could have Parkinson's disease, is to see a neurologist to be properly diagnosed, and then potentially to work with a movement disorder specialist so that they get the proper care and attention that they need.
And we've obviously seen not too long ago that it affects fairly young people.
Yes, it's quite disturbing that more and more we're finding young people who are being diagnosed with the disease, and frankly the disease, unless we find a way to do something about it, there's going to be more and more cases as the years go on. The elderly population is getting larger, people are living longer, so we really need to be doing something about this disease. And twofold, again, our mission is to ease the burden and find the cure. And so we've got to help the people who are living right now with Parkinson's disease, but we also have to look for ways to find a cure for the disease and to provide support for research. So that's really important to us to have that dual mission.
To find that gene, that what is, because
Yeah.
it's basically an autoimmune disease, correct? It's not something you catch from someone.
It's a neurological disorder,
Okay.
yeah. So no, you wouldn't catch it.
Right.
Although there are questions whether or not there is a hereditary component,
Right.
environmental component. The problem is that we just don't know why people have Parkinson's
Right.
disease. And so that's an area of study that's very important. There's so many different levels of study that we have to do in order to get to the bottom of this disease.
And one of the ways that you want to get the word out is with the PSA, and this is where Autumn comes in. You are a filmmaker,
Yes.
and as I said, you did the film Shadow, which we showed here. How did your involvement come in with this?
Well, Larry's been great since I met him working with Shadow.
Yeah.
He's brought me into this component, which hits a nerve with me. I have a neurological disorder myself, and I really love this idea of spreading this awareness and showing real people who are living with Parkinson's and living with optimism. And that was one exciting thing that Stephanie suggested that we do. She said, you might not like this idea, but what if we don't use actors? What if we use real people? And we were all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was so beautiful this weekend is we had 7 featured actors with Parkinson's in our spot. And every one of their stories was so beautiful that the camera captured the real just beauty of their lives. And I don't know that we would have gotten that with actors, and
Yeah.
using real people who live it and feel the emotions and their families and support systems.
We got a few photos
Wow.
here, and tell us, obviously, one of them is you and Stephanie, and you directing here. What about these other photos? These 3, it looks like 3 generations in this. Photo
Absolutely,
here.
absolutely. This is Helen here, who lives nearby in Orange County, and she has Parkinson's, and she's the sweetest woman. We actually were filming that scene in Palos Verdes on a cliff overlooking the ocean, and it was freezing and windy, and she was such a trooper, just kept going. It was amazing. This is a part of our shoot. We had a man named Brett Watterson who practices Tai Chi. And
Oh,
so
really?
we filmed a Tai Chi segment, and this is the local resident, Nina Bryce, who has been beyond generous with her time and her home. She has the most beautiful home, which provided the perfect set piece for some of our segments. And then that's us filming again, yeah.
Yeah, so we got a couple of them we didn't put in, but we got these photos in this morning, and I think it really showcases what you folks are doing. You mentioned Tai Chi, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to these folks who have Parkinson's, doing Tai Chi, doing yoga, whatever it might be, is this a benefit to them?
Absolutely. Movement, dance, Tai Chi, art, so many different things. It's important that people continue to move. And oftentimes, if freezing is one of the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, where your head wants you to go, but your body just
Really?
won't do it. So things like counting or having the ability to move and knowing how to do that and practicing that really helps you get going when you need to get going. So the American Parkinson's Disease Association supports programs throughout the country through our chapters and our information and referral centers. And we have one right here in Orange County at the Orange Coast Memorial. And there's also work that's done at the Long Beach and the Saddleback branches.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry Brown is our coordinator here, and she oversees support groups and exercise groups and provides services and information to people who need that information here in this local area. So yeah, we definitely recommend that people do Tai Chi. As a matter of fact, Brett, who was in that one segment, he's sort of a rough and tumble guy, military background, and it was so wonderful to watch him practicing the Tai Chi and the way it helps him in his movement. It's just incredible to see it.
Autumn, what's the format of these PSAs? Are they going to be 30 and 60-second spots, or something a little bit longer that'll be almost like a little infomercial?
Yeah, we're going to cut to 15, 30, and 60-second
Okay.
spots, and we have enough footage to do longer if it's,
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
desired. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
You said yourself, and you've talked about this before, that you have a neurological disorder yourself, which also prompted you to do the movie Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are working with people who have something different, but still are dealing with different, with Parkinson's, but different symptoms of that. How was that to be able to see people that are older than yourself and yet dealing with this disease and just going through their daily life.
Well, it's so inspiring. One of my favorite storylines that we captured was the segment with Helen also features a younger woman with Parkinson's. And when she came in and met with us during our audition, she told me that she sometimes, when she sees people who are more advanced in the disease, she watches them with a lot of curiosity and wonders what's my life like? What am I going to look like in 20 years? And so we actually captured that in one of the segments. I think it's a very important point that people who live with the disease wonder what's in their future. And because Parkinson's manifests so differently, you don't really know. So in this actual segment, we had Wendy sitting on the bench watching Helen walk by with her walker, and we captured a moment of emotion in her eyes where it's like she's watching and contemplating, and then her husband leans over and gives her a reassuring hug, like, it's gonna be okay, and they smile. And I was excited about that segment because that's something I've related to, you know, and that's something, we tried to capture like the reality of daily life and all the facets, and so yeah, it was really a neat experience.
When will these be ready? What's the time frame?
Very soon.
Yeah, we're hoping to launch in May, and we actually, it will be more than the television spots. We are also looking to do some radio spots, some print ads, and we're also developing a microsite so that people can come, when they see the ad, they have a place to go to get information and to have, you know, a course of action.
Yeah.
So
I think that's wonderful.
More than just showing, but now you can do something.
Well, here's to more and more research where they can really pinpoint what is the cause. I know things like this, it can take years, if not decades, to really figure out what it is, but hopefully we'll get to that point.
In April, an exciting announcement, April is Awareness Month for Parkinson's, and we actually, the city of Laguna Woods has chosen to honor that with a proclamation.
On Wednesday.
Yes.
In fact, we just had Cynthia on, she talked about that.
Great.
So you'll both be there?
Unfortunately, I'm going
You got
back
it back
to New York
home, okay.
tonight, but yeah.
I'll be there with
Okay.
Larry Strauss, yes.
Yes,
All right.
and we hope everybody is, there's so many things happening in April, and yeah, we hope people come to our website, apdaparkinson.org, and they can learn about all the things that are happening in the month of April.
All right, very good. Autumn and Stephanie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you ever come out here again, maybe next year during the Parkinson's Awareness Month, we'd love to have you back, and I'm sure we'll see you again sometime.
Sounds great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in a minute.